Hey, today we've got a new major order to discuss. We'll review the success message and the briefing because it's quite insane. There's also a new Automaton enemy. I'll also talk about a brand new episode of Helldivers 2 that's coming, talk about Liberty Day, and there's much more to cover. As always, if you can show your support, please hit the like button below and consider subscribing with notifications turned on. What I'd like to bring up first is the Secret Level Show, which will feature an episode based around Helldivers. If you don't know what the Secret Level Show is, it's basically a TV show premiering on December 10th, 2024, with episodes centered on video games like God of War, Warhammer, Armored Core, and even Helldivers, among others, as you can see. You can see all the mentioned games, especially Helldivers, on the right side, if you check out the image here. Now, the Helldivers episode is the one I'm most excited about personally. I do plan to review this episode once it's live, and I can't wait to see what you all think about it when it's finally available. Alright, moving on from that, as I mentioned earlier, we have a new major order, but we also succeeded in the last major order. And it seems like the folks at Super Earth believe it's a great idea to construct their own Jurassic Park, essentially. I'm not joking. If you look at the success message here, this is what it says. Excitingly, a small part of the preserve has been allocated to the new Tyranny Park, where adventurous and well-paying citizens will be able to observe the Terminids in their natural environment. Some particularly bold patriots may even participate in a big tyrant hunt. This exciting venture will both help fund future research and deepen our citizens' understanding of the horrors of the tyranny. Finally, and most importantly, this auspicious victory will allow the construction of the DSS to continue on schedule. They're actually going to construct a place where citizens can see what the Terminids look like in person and observe how they behave. I'm sure this will go over smoothly. Nothing terrible will happen to those citizens. No, I'm kidding. I think the whole plan is an awful idea, and those Terminids are for sure going to find a way out of those electric fences, one way or the other. The theory going around is that the electric fences they have in place are going to force the Terminids to evolve into an electric type of bug. If that theory is correct, at least we'll have a reason to use the electrical conduit passive, and we'll also have a new enemy to face off against. But the bad news is that most likely the citizens from Super Earth will be slaughtered, essentially for us to receive a new enemy type. Also, not to mention, Akamar could very well turn into a super colony. If that turns out to be true, well, I guess that's what happens in the name of democracy and science. Anyway, next we're gonna all see what the newest major order is and the new enemy type, but let's see what the briefing says. Right here, they wrote, Automaton warships have appeared in massive numbers in the atmosphere of Matar Bay. Multiple siege bases have already fallen. Reports indicate the presence of an augmented Automaton detachment leading the invasion, equipped with jetpack technology. This detachment will be referred to as the Jet Brigade in all communications. Intel indicates that the Automatons have discovered the existence of the DSS project, and this invasion is a brute force attempt to discover its location or that of its supporting substations. If the Jet Brigade is not stopped, the logistics hub, the Deep Mantle Forge complex, or the DSS itself could be jeopardized. The size of the assault is unprecedented, some loss of territory may be unavoidable, but every bot decommission will weaken the strength of their advance. All Helldivers are ordered to immediately deploy to the defense of Matar Bay. The Automatons cannot be allowed to discover the location of the DSS or its substations. There's quite a bit to unpack here. First, the new enemy is a jetpack flying automaton equipped with a handgun and also a melee weapon, which is really cool. We saw this automaton a while ago and it was shown at the end of the Escalation of Freedom trailer, but now we can actually encounter it on the battlefield. It's not powerful by any means, but it can definitely close in on distances fast, and before you know it, it'll be right in front of you trying to shoot at you or melee you. Not only do the Automatons have a new enemy, the bots now also have a warship. I thought this was going to happen, and I was sort of right. Instead of them attacking the Democracy Space Station, they're currently at Matar Bay. I suspect at some point we'll be able to destroy those warships, but we'll see. I'm hoping there will be a mission based around that where we'll need to destroy a number of warships in order to complete the major order, but that's just a guess though, and something I'm looking forward to if it does happen. Now the question is, should we head over to Matar Bay or Choohe? I think the best plan would be to go to Choohe, and I'll explain why. If you look at the information provided by the Helldivers 2 companion app, it shows that we're losing, and we need at least 64,000 players to defend Matar Bay. However, the easier option would be to pull a gambit and go over to Choohe. The only problem with that is that it's unlikely to happen. I don't think many are aware that Choohe is the best option and would rather go to Matar Bay. If only the Arrowhead developers were to include a tutorial about Gambit, I believe more players would be aware of supplies and how everything works. Speaking of a major order, the current plan is to defend against one attack from the Automatons, which should be fairly easy. It's going to be interesting to see what the Automatons decide to do next after their defeat. They could easily head over to the logistics hub, considering they have direct access to it after they had taken over Vernon Wells a week ago, I believe. And they also can head over to Lyseth at any point if they were to discover the location of the Democracy Space Station. What I suggest we do next after we have defended against one attack is to head over to either Lyseth or Vernon Wells. I think the best option would be Lyseth, so they do not have access to Galaver, but if we don't liberate Vernon Wells soon, the bots could also attack the logistics hub location at any point. So really, there are only two options we have, and I'm going to say liberating Lyseth is the best option. It will stop the bots from attacking Galaver if they figure out the DSS location. Let me know how you feel about the latest major order, the newest enemy, and the strategy I've provided. Do you think it's a good idea or not? Just let's post some comments and talk about it. Let's have a great discussion about it. With that aside, I think it's a great time to talk about the armor penetration on the Senator. There's been some buzz in the community. A member asked the community manager Twinbeard about the armor penetration 4. This member mentioned that they asked Twinbeard why the Senator has an AP4. Now apparently the community manager is going to ask the Arrowhead developers about this. You can see in this response, he wrote, "I didn't vanish, I had a meeting, and I go in and out of here all day long, so I never really leave. I'll try to ask about the AP4, but there are other things as well, as I'm sure you know." So yeah, there have been mixed opinions about it recently. I even decided to ask for your input by creating a poll in the community section to see what you think. I asked if the Senator is too powerful, and 95% voted that it's amazing now, while 5% voted that it's too powerful against Bile Titans. There were a total of 11,000 people who voted in this poll, meaning 10,450 people voted yes, and 550 people voted no. I think it's clear that it's not overpowered or too powerful against Bile Titans specifically. In another video, I mentioned that it's not a big deal considering you have to damage the Bile Titan considerably before unloading your magazine into it. It's not like you can unload a whole magazine by itself and expect a Bile Titan to collapse. It takes additional damage beforehand. But I could see it being an issue if you could put several rounds into a Bile Titan and it just flops over. Yeah, that might be a bit overpowered. However, that's not the case. You have to inflict a good amount of damage in order to defeat an enemy of that size. I think it's perfectly fine where it is at the current moment, and I don't believe there's any issues with it. Since we're on the topic of powerful weapons and all the changes following the recent update, Twinbeard asked the community for their thoughts on the game. The feedback was quite mixed in the Discord. Some felt the game is great, while others crave more challenge. Twinbeard shared a summary on the Discord, saying, "So off the top of skimming, overall very good, positive momentum continuing, power players want to be challenged, give us something to make us sweat, more variety wanted." Then a user in the Helldivers 2 Discord responded to the community manager, suggesting the need for more challenging difficulties and more ways to sink our teeth and time into. Twinbeard acknowledged this, responding with, "Yeah, I know, my only use of an expression like that is that it's something most can understand. Elite, hardcore, power player, milsim, diehard, oil spillers, it doesn't really matter. The point is simply that a not insubstantial percentage of the player base really want to be challenged. So we're saying the same thing, and I hear you." Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to desire an additional difficulty or new ways to experience the game. Personally, I'd like a higher difficulty, not because the game feels easy, but to provide a greater challenge when we play. I absolutely agree with this. I'd like to know what you think about this. Should we receive a higher difficulty? Should we receive more rewards when we complete these difficulties? What are your thoughts about this? As you guys know, I totally agree with this stuff. I would love to see a higher difficulty, maybe some rewards added to it. So if you complete a higher difficulty, you're given, better rewards. Maybe like a cool outfit or some sort of cosmetic. So yeah, share your thoughts down below in the comments, and I might just feature that comment in the next video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this so we can all just kind of share what we think about the game so far. Okay, so far we've talked about the Helldivers episode, the new Automaton enemy, the new major order, and more. But now I'd like to cover news about the developer streams. If you saw my video from yesterday, we all noticed that Twinbeard posted an image of a setup in an office area that had lights and a microphone. I asked the community manager if streams are coming, and his response was, "Could it be? I guess we'll have to wait and see." This suggests there will definitely be a stream soon, which could very well be about Liberty Day since it's on the 26th. It's also worth noting that it's Pilisted's birthday as well. If you didn't know, the support team member confirmed this on the Helldivers 2 official Discord. Alright, it's time to go over your suggested loadouts. If you're wondering how I decide which comments to choose, I basically use a randomizer app to pick one at random. This way everyone has an equal chance. However, if a comment gets a lot of likes, I also take that into consideration, and most likely I'll try out your loadout based off of how many likes it receives. With that being said, today we have a suggested loadout by a person in the comments that goes by the username of Elijah. I didn't include your full name for privacy concerns, of course. Nonetheless, I was recommended to try out the Adjudicator, and Elijah right here is not wrong at all because it does incredibly well against Brood Commanders and Bile Spewers. The secondary, on the other hand, is the Laser Dagger that also received a buff, yet that was last month. And you know, I hadn't even thought about using this on Shriekers, but you're absolutely right about it. It's also not too bad against smaller bugs, as you have also mentioned. As for grenades, we have the Thermite, which has been favored by so many Helldivers as of late, and there's a good reason for it. It's amazing against Chargers, Bile Titans, Hulks, and different enemy types. Next, for armors, you recommended a light armor type with the engineering passive, and I think this is a great choice in terms of stamina and the extra grenades you can carry. With the weapons and armor set aside, the offensive stratagems include the 500 kg bomb for impalers, chargers, and as you mentioned, it's quite effective on smaller to medium-sized bug nests. The second stratagem is the orbital napalm barrage, and you can't go wrong choosing this stratagem. It's incredibly powerful and useful on larger hive nests at difficulty 10. Lastly, for support stratagems, the shield backpack is recommended for enduring attacks from chargers and also Brood Commanders, as they can hit like a truck at times. The last support stratagem is the Quasar Cannon for one-shotting Bile Titans, as you mentioned. My thoughts on this loadout, that I'm impressed with how powerful the Quasar Cannon is against Bile Titans, not to mention the Adjudicator really shines after the recent update. Overall, it's a solid recommendation from the comments, earning a 4.5 out of 5 in general brass stars. If you're keen on seeing your loadout featured, send over an Automaton loadout suggestion in the comments, and I'll give it a shot in my next video. With all the information being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, comment down below, and you just might be shown in the next video. The first comment is by Kung Pao Spaghetti 5109. I want to play in the underground tunnels of the Terminids. I actually commented in this, and I told you that it's not possible because basically the developers, as of right now, I believe if I'm not mistaken, they said something along the lines of that it's not possible due to the system or the way the engine works. So just throwing that out there, but I also would love to see that as well. Just underground tunnels to explore would be crazy. The second comment is by user JT1JS5MR3F. Holy smokes. Wild username. But anyways, this person said, I don't know why so many players are so bad at looking at the map and going where we need to. Edit, it seems like maybe some of you are not bad, you are just selfish. Play how you want so long as you can admit that the problem is you, and don't beat when people are annoyed. Cheers. I can't even say certain words. You know how YouTube is. But yeah, that's what that comment was about. The last and final comment is by Predman1227. I really feel that the devs should bring back the down revival system from Helldivers 1. A system where instead of dying when your HP reaches 0, there's a chance you get put in a down state, allowing you to crawl away to maybe revive yourself back to half health, or have a teammate help you back up. If they brought this back, it gives the medkit players a chance to actually be real medics, being able to revive fallen players quicker, and maybe being able to carry wounded Helldivers to safety where they can be treated in relative peace. I, for one, would love to be able to roleplay as a medic, carrying my fallen friends to safety and save them from blood loss. Me too, exactly. And I was actually really stoked about the stim pistol, even though it was okay before then, but now it's a lot better after the recent patch. But yeah, I would love to be able to carry my teammates and revive them that way. I think that's a great suggestion. So those are the top 3 comments. Thank you guys so much for commenting, watching the video, and all that good stuff. It truly means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.